Welcome back to the Pro Mixed Doubles at 2022 Pro Worlds. This is round 1, back 9. We are following the feature card of Gannon and Mason Ford and Valerie Mandujano. Thanks to Gatekeeper's Patreon supporters and others who make this video possible, I'm Andrew Fish, joined here by Holly Finley.
Yes, we are playing the Supreme 18 layout at Jones Park, the MPO layout, which is actually over 10,000 feet. So right now you can see Mason and Valerie sitting at -5 and Missy and Gannon at -4.
Yeah, you got to bring your arm for this one.
Telling you.
And we've got a lot of players out there shooting pretty hot. So this one's going to be a very competitive round as we continue. Hole 10, it's a par 4 at 724 feet, OB lines both sides, and there's some scattered trees that you've got to navigate, and the basket is pinched in very tightly. I'd expect we're either going to see some big hyzers around the right side, or possibly hyzer flips thrown up the middle. Mandujano with that very nice release, getting good glide out of it, and that should finish pretty neutrally. No chance of going out of bounds. Mason, driven shot. If it clears those branches, it's going places.
I like that.
Yeah, that's probably in the neighborhood of 460 or so. Missy has been on fire being able to throw a slight hyzer release to a flip up.
This is getting a little dangerous though, out of bounds. I mean, if you put too much height on it and that right to left wind, it just carries it right into the road every time.
I think this is probably the windiest day that we've had during like the practice time for Worlds this year. Certainly nothing compared to what was at DDO this year.
Oh, I'd agree with that.
So Gannon kind of throws the get in play shot, and that's going to leave their team with an Anheuser release. And once again, under the trees.
Yeah, I'm just noticing a trend of, like you said, these grabby bushes near the tees, near the basket for the men's layout.
And look at this. I love this shot. Missy gets it to the right side.
Yes! That is so good.
And this is definitely, you expose the flight plate that early in the flight, it's going to drift left with the crosswind.
Yeah, she might be caught up in the bushes. It's kind of a small landing area for that basket to not have an obstructed putt.
Yeah, extremely tight. The right tree is a little bit more favorable than the left, has been my experience. But there are spots inside the circle that are nearly unputtable. And, that's part of what the design has been intended to do. It's to make you think about which side of the green is best.
Yeah. Here we are at hole 11, 493 feet. Usually we have a tailwind on this hole, which can really help carry the disc all the way down. That was just aimed incorrectly from Val, or a little early release out of the hand. Once you get through this gap, though, if you can make it under that, no, that's going to mess that up, too. It's just easy to glide all the way down there if you get the right shot.
Mm-hmm. And we're playing a modified best shot doubles format. So teams can't use the same player's tee shot more than 2 holes in a row.
This is what I was waiting to see.
Yeah, very nicely thrown by Gannon.
Not much ground play on the grass out here.
No, I think that's something that players are having to get used to, because we usually see this course in April to May when grass hasn't quite grown up yet.
You're right, and it's dry, crunchy sticks. Mm-hmm. It's not really green, soft grass.
Yeah, so much less ground play than we're used to. And because of that modified format, they had to take this kind of disadvantageous shot underneath a tree.
was a more overstable disc than I knew it was. At first I thought he shanked it. I'm like, oh my gosh, he pulled it so far right. But I don't know much about Prodigy, but that acted like a gator or a pig.
Yeah, I would expect one of their A series. I know that a lot of the Prodigy players have relied on those for their approaches, forehand and backhand.
Look at that smooth shot from Val.
That kind of frees Mason up to give this a chain high run. So they're going to have to settle for a bogey here. And honestly, if there's a par 3 out here that's going to happen on, it's probably this hole.
Missy, you don't like these baskets?
I'm sorry. I've had too many spin through. My foot has a little too much hydrate sometimes.
That'll bring us on to hole 12. Arguably the most gettable hole out here. It's only 302 feet, a little bit uphill. And I would expect players who have the forehand to be able to throw it here because it's going to dig into the slope a little better.
Oh, barely sneaking over the edge. Gannon lands barely inbounds, so they will have a putt.
Yeah, doing absolutely the minimum there.
If you want to do the bare minimum, that's fine.
Teachers don't like that. Disc golfers might.
Sneak. Oh
And-
man, she's way over.
Yeah, Missy with a great shot. That's going to be 22 feet maybe.
That looks like it could finish left out of bounds. Hard to say from this angle. That wouldn't really call that a putt.
Yeah. No out of bounds graphic, so that implies it's in. But we may need to keep an eye on Val's kind of early release right now.
That is primo right there, right inside the bullseye.
Yes.
Birdie for the Gannon team.
We'll expect last year's defending champions to be able to do the same.
Nice soft putt from Mason.
Mm-hmm.
All right, hole 13. This is such a fun shot. Downhill, and if you get just the right shape on it, you can park it. It usually is some kind of wind here, never the same one, day after day. I've found that it took for me like a flex shot to get there. And it's just such a fun shot to watch it fly all the way down the hill and see if you can get in the circle for a putt.
Yeah. Gannon goes with something a little bit of stable. And I think that was better thrown than he got credit for.
Yeah, I agree. It's actually not that far. Man, flying through those limbs is just killing the speed on the disc.
For sure. Mason plays a little bit more of a hyzer flip. Gets it to drift. I'm not sure it's going to hold all the way,
Yes!
but gets to the gap.
I
Very
love
nice.
it.
Good approach there. That should clear Missy to put a good run on it.
Yep.
All right.
Okay, Missy. Gee, I mean, I said it earlier. Her upshots are,
Sick.
dang, nice putt from Val.
You see that like very direct spinny putt. I like the way that's thrown, and that might reflect, learning to play in Texas, where you're going to deal with wind, you're going to deal with a lot of other stuff.
Very good point.
Being a PDGA member gives you access to not just play the sport, but to engage and compete with your local community. An active PDGA membership gives you access to over 6,500 sanctioned events around the world. From local leagues and tournaments, all the way up through the majors, everyone has the opportunity to play. These are an amazing way to get engaged with your local disc community. Get started on your disc golf journey today. Visit pdga.com/join.
Hole 14, another water carry. The water's not super in play on this one. It's going to be a gradually bending par 4 with OB to both sides. And then as we cross this little creek about a circle's edge, the basket's tucked in between a set of trees. Well thrown there.
Yeah, safely inbounds from Val. Tom, number 1 caddy in the background, getting that media footage.
And a little bigger carry there for Missy. Very nice.
Great glide on that.
And I expect this shot is going to go places.
I mean, I'm just so excited to see what he's going to do next.
Anheuser release. Clears the tree that like really defines the corner here.
Wow, Gannon Buhr
That's huge.
over the ladies' garden. Man.
Pick some tomatoes on the way by. When you're playing a doubles event like this, are you keeping track of scores at all, or are you just assuming that, every team is going to birdie nearly every hole?
When I did play doubles, I most certainly kept track of scores because I felt like it was more of a strategic setup
Thank you.
versus when I play alone. I just sort of feel it out. I don't really think about the scores unless I'm in a position to win and I
Sure.
need to look at it towards the finish.
Oh, wow.
Missy, once again, with her pinpoint accuracy in those up shots.
Yeah, right shape. Could use a little bit more height for Missy on that approach.
Mason's been putting strong today.
Yeah, all 4 of these players are very, very solid putters.
Okay, so I started disc golf in 2012, and the first person I saw do the step putt was Dave Feldberg, but who I think made it really popular due to their media coverage was Paul Ulibarri.
Yeah.
What would you say on that progression of the step putt?
I think Feldberg was the one who really made it a thing. And then other players copied him because he was for so long like the number 1 player in the world. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I think players, they jump putt, they step putt, they'll stand still to spin it in there. Mm-hmm. Both teams getting the birdie there. Nicely done.
Yeah, that was impressive. Hole 15, 396. We do have the out of bounds lake, which does come into play. So you can go safe on the right side, or if you want to try to get the birdie, you're going to have to go a little bit closer to the water.
Yeah, for players throwing that right-hand backhand spin, you need to hang it out over the road if you're trying to get the birdie here. Otherwise, everything funnels down. We see Missy throw a shot that never quite gets over. That'll be fine. That'll probably be a 3.
I feel like everyone was very conservative on that tee shot.
Yeah, maybe so. I know for part of my game plan for Worlds, this isn't really a hole that I'm messing with a whole lot.
Right. It's kind of like better to get the par and go to the next one than risk something stupid trying to get a birdie next to the water.
Yeah, potentially. And when you've got 2 players, maybe that 100-footer looks a little bit more appealing.
You're right. Listen, Andrew, a 100-footer always looks appealing to me.
I admire your greed and your spin putt.
Mason chips one up there. Tap in par for Missy and Gannon.
And just outside bullseye for Team Ford and Mandujano. Yeah. We're getting into the last couple holes here, and this is a punishing closing stretch.
Oh man, I'm telling you, hole 16. Ooh, tell me about it.
Yeah, you're going to have an uphill shot that carries out of bounds grass to a pretty specific landing zone to another long carry. The perfect shot here is going to get you no closer than probably 440. That flagpole is really the guide marker here. Is that what you're aiming at?
I'm trying to go left of the flagpole, but yeah, that's pretty much a good spot to throw towards. I have unfortunately landed on the concrete around the pole before, so now I'm not aiming directly at it because I did that at DDO and I was like, okay, that was too perfect. You know, my mind said, look, it's a pole, we must land close to
Right.
it. You get up there and you're like, not on the pole. I find this to be the most stressful and difficult hole on the course, just because the placement is so key. You have to read the wind perfectly, and there's just so much out of bounds.
Yeah.
And then when you get up there, you got to start making these crazy decisions like, all right, am I going to throw over the road? And am I going to do the road skip? You know, how often are you doing road skips? Very rare.
Certainly not at this course, and I don't think we've done it in the last 4 or 5 tournaments on
Right.
tour.
So then you start doing that kind of jazz. Now look at this.
If it's in front of the tree, nope, no
Nope,
good.
out of bounds. And then it's like you really got to think about the height, the angle, the wind, the finish, the skip. It's just so much going on when you play this hole. Oh, this is what I like. Don't mess with the road. Get all the way over, but is it going to land? It looks like it might. It might.
Kind of a helping wind to drop it.
I love that.
Incredibly high level
I
shot.
wish I could play the hole like that.
So Missy, we've seen her go. She looks like she's lining up the hyzer.
Yeah, I feel
hyzer
like
shape
the
here.
hyzer road skip.
And that might just be kind of a get me over.
Oh, easy. Nope.
I think if she catches grass there, that sticks.
I agree, and if it was a little flatter, Gannon with the distance like Mason to land inbounds on the grass square.
Is very overstable, but never quite gets it right of the basket.
I've noticed that's like very, that's a trend I've seen in his drives. He does that flex shot.
Yeah.
I used to do that a lot when I first started because of the bill of my hat. I wouldn't see those limbs. And then I started like where I would just flip up the bill of my hat, look up before I did my upshot, and then I stopped making those little mistakes.
That's very funny. I know for me, I'll be like so intent on basket
Yes.
that I'll forget about those. Yeah. Missy kind of has the green light here. And honorable bid, at least gets it high enough.
Ooh, that went places. Some good spin on it. Cut right through the wind. I'd say that was very well played. Look at Gannon's shirt. This is the wind that we're accustomed to seeing out here.
Solid.
Yeah.
So both teams going to tap in their par. I would sign up for a par on this every day of the week.
Thank you. Me too. Move along.
But potentially even in doubles with a couple shots at it. Like that's a hole
Yes.
that can spiral and go real fast on you.
Now this hole 17 is one of my favorite holes on the course. You've got to throw over some more out of bounds grass, similar to the last hole. Then you've got a super low ceiling, which we've seen in previous holes, and it is just 2 perfect shots to get yourself a 3. And I just find it to be, for me, one of the most rewarding feeling 3s on the course.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably because it's one of the most wooded holes on the course. That's probably why I love it so much. And now I haven't seen this played before.
Yeah, it takes the wind being right. Gannon kind of hangs it out there. Looks like he just snuck back in.
Score is tight here on the 17th hole, just 1 stroke apart. Missy punching it over the out-of-bounds grass, nice and low, and that's a great shot.
And if these players are monitoring scores, it looks like 9, 10, 11 will be competitive at the end of this first round.
All right, you've got this low ceiling. You really need to punch it as far as you can and hope for a little bit of ground play, but not too much. because the grass is out of bounds on the left.
As we approach this basket, it really tightens up on the left. The right side's
does.
open, but it's, it makes for a more challenging putt.
And it's breezy up there, so it's kind of fast. Oh, Missy's like, her brain's been playing that FPO basket. She just went right to it.
Yikes. Gannon with what looked like a pretty solid line, cut down halfway through. I think you see here the challenge on this hole is that you can't get that far off the tee, which makes the upshots much more demanding than, a standard 7-10 would be.
Yes. I've seen some really impressive sidearm upshots from Mason today. I haven't watched that much of his game, just because if I am watching coverage, I like to watch the females. So it's really fun to watch his ability to control the angles and his versatility. Great backhand, great sidearm, solid putt.
As we see a solid putt from his teammate.
I love her spin putt.
Once again, both teams going to walk away with the par, bringing us into hole 18. This is another downhill tee shot, pretty much across an open field. There is a mandatory on that light pole. You have to move very far left off the tee to set yourself up in this gap, and then throw across an out-of-bounds creek to an elevated basket, kind of perched on the top of a hill. I like this shape. I think it's got enough left that will set them up for a pretty straight approach.
Yeah, when I first played the hole, I made the mistake of just trying to go as far as possible, but I realized if you're trying to play for the birdie, positioning is almost more important than the distance off the tee. Because if you can't get through the gap on the second shot, then you're just left with basically a pitch up to a positioning shot.
Yeah, absolutely. If you go left enough, you're looking straight at it. Otherwise, you're trying to throw through a staggered gap and get it to flex out or finish essentially to a straight basket. Missy punches it, gets some weird wind bounces. Holy cow.
I love it when the disc does that. I mean, this is a good enough size and a decent angle. I would definitely go for that.
Yeah, that gets them to circle 2.
It's a great shot from Val. Get to see another sidearm from Mason here.
I know you're a backhand player, but I kind of think the backhand would be the right way to go here just to make the gap wider. He pushes the left edge, though, and
Look at that.
puts it beyond. That's
And
amazing.
he is really good with a sidearm.
Missy smokes the gap. And up to circle 2, looks like.
Excellent shot.
And this is probably 320 away,
I'd agree
if I
with
had
that.
to guess.
It dropped.
Yeah, I think Gannon went mid or putter there.
Dropped it so.
I feel like Missy might be a little bit closer.
Yeah,
For the birdie? All right, we've seen Missy come in clutch several times this round.
yeah. This would be big because, like I said, 9, 10, 11 was where the leaders appeared to be, and they're sitting 7. Can't quite get that wind lift on the right to left. Val to finish. They've done a good job getting themselves to the top side here, which is a little more level.
Solid putt from Valerie. Their team finishing at 9 under par.
And that'll be tied for 3rd overall.
Missy tacks in for their par on 18, with their team finishing at 7 under par. Man, what some incredible golf. I really enjoyed seeing Gannon take the big distance shots, and then like the course management from Valerie and Mason. Just a lot to learn.
Yeah, super strong play from everyone. I like seeing this course attacked in the doubles format. That's round 1. In round 2, we're going to be playing an alternate shot format. Thank you so much to all of Gatekeeper's supporters. And for Holly Finley, I'm Andrew Fish.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on round 2.